Kyle Busch is set to leave Joe Gibbs Racing and join the RCR team from 2023 onward. And while many think that this is a good move for the former Cup Series champion from 2015 and 2019, that might not be the truth. Kyle Busch's move from JGR to Richard Childress Racing is perceived as one of the biggest shakeups in the 2023 driver lineup, as he is currently wrapping up the 15th season with JGR. But will Richard Childress Racing really profit from the veteran, or did they sign a false hope of a driver? Kyle Busch has won the 2015 and 2019 championships, and we all remember the amazing comeback story in 2015 for Busch. However, we can't live in the past forever, and we need to understand that certain things are bound to happen. For example, Busch isn't the same driver we are used to seeing, as his record hasn't really spoken for itself in the past couple of years. For example, Busch has only won one race in 2022, the Food City Dirt Race in Bristol. He has also earned 2 second-place finishes but failed to win down the stretch, which calls into question his ability as to whether or not he has it in himself to win races in NASCAR in the future. That is the main reason why Richard Childress Racing wants to sign him, and they do have all the right in the world to hope that Kyle will be the best version of himself on their team, but hope and reality are two different things. Childress Racing believes that Busch still has talent, and we aren't doubting that he knows how to drive a NASCAR car. The records speak for themselves, with Busch having an all-time record in race wins in the Xfinity Series with 102 and 62 wins in the Truck Series, with the latter also being an all-record. Will Busch go down as one of the most prominent and successful NASCAR drivers in the history of the sport? Quite probably. But does he have what it takes to win NASCAR races and championships for RCR? That is a far-fetched scenario. There is one concerning fact when it comes to Kyle Busch's career, and that is the fact that he managed to win only 4 times in the past 3 seasons, finishing no higher than 8th in the point standings in any of them. The downward trend of his performance isn't something that Busch can be proud of, as we can see that stars before him like Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. have met the same fate as Kyle is set to meet. Another factor that will be very important to Busch's success in RCR is the equipment. The on-track equipment from Joe Gibbs Racing, the team that Busch is set to depart at the end of the season, is undoubtedly much better compared to RCR. The closest that RCR has come to a championship in recent years was in 2014 when Ryan Newman finished second. This is a major concern for Busch, because if he isn't capable of winning races at JGR, then this challenge would be amplified hugely in RCR. It is obvious that RCR has what it takes to win races, as we've been able to see with Tyler Reddick, the man that Busch will replace in the number 8 car as he won 3 times. For the short term, this move will bring RCR good publicity and allow everyone in the garage to learn from one of the best. However, the long-term investment they've made with Kyle Busch isn't really a promising one, as we have no idea how many wins are part of the future collaboration of these sides. It became evident at the beginning of the season that Busch and Joe Gibbs Racing would have trouble agreeing on common terms, as Busch had reportedly asked for too much from the team. I'll be taking my talents to Welcome, North Carolina to drive the number 8 car starting in 2023, announced Busch. But the question has to be asked, why didn't Busch remain with a team that has a much better chance of providing him with a championship-winning car? And was it that bad that he had to leave for a team that has a car with much worse equipment? Busch had full sponsorships for many years to come from JGR, and it is crazy to think that one driver would think of leaving this kind of environment for anything else. Busch has signed with JGR ever since 2010, and in times where the economic state of other teams isn't a guarantee, Busch's decision to leave the team has been perceived as a silly one. At this moment, Busch is the only active driver in NASCAR with multiple titles, and it goes without saying that he is the most responsible driver for Toyota's success in the Truck Series. Busch's main sponsor was M&M Mars, and the team is leaving NASCAR at the end of the year. Unfortunately for him, JGR was unable to find a replacement sponsor, and Busch did offer to drive below his market value to get a deal completed. According to some reports, RCR has lined up sponsorship for Busch, and it seems like the team hopes that they will reincarnate the old Busch that we all know from 2015 and 2019. And the 2022 season hasn't been really successful for Busch, as we already mentioned earlier in this video. At the Darlington Raceway, Busch's engine blew off with 22 laps remaining while he was leading the race. Instead of gaining a victory that would have automatically advanced him into the second round, Busch finished 30th and remained 11th in the playoff standings. Ever since this race, Busch has started to praise the team for their decisions and has handled the Darlington disappointment with a lot of dignity and honor. He praised the team for all the stuff the guys have done and gone through, just all the news and everything that's going on all year. They've dug in and never given up. Automatically, rumors have started to spread about his possible departure from JGR, and when asked about how he feels about this stuff, Busch offered a faint smile and said, "I don't know, the sun will come up tomorrow." And up until this point, there is another question that pops up in our heads, and that is, did Joe Gibbs Racing even try to keep the two-time Cup Series champion? According to some analysis, the team didn't really mind that the champion was leaving the team, because they couldn't live on Old Glory's hopes. True, he won 2 championships for the team, but he hasn't been able to live up to everybody's expectations in the last 3 years. The team did make a move when it came to signing a sponsorship for Busch, with them trying to sign Oracle to sponsor the 2-time Cup Series champion. However, when the deal fell through, the Toyota organization didn't really bother to search for another sponsor and try to keep the champion in their own rows. On top of that, there is an obvious replacement that is supposed to take place from the next season on, and that is Ty Gibbs. Ty is the grandson of the owner of JGR, so with him showing massive potential and his behavior being the thing that he desperately needs to work on, the team wasn't really keen on living on the old glory that Busch provided to them. But they handled this whole situation with grace and dignity, never making Busch feel like he wasn't a wanted asset on the team. Just 1 month before Busch announced that he will depart the team, strong talks between the team and sponsors have emerged as to whether they should keep investing in the 2-time Cup Series champion. But it seems like Busch has already made up his mind after he had a talk with JGR, and the team said that they do have sponsors that are ready to invest in him. So, with all being said and done, we cannot wait to see whether or not Busch has it in himself when it comes to winning races or possibly championships in the future. As of now, the odds are against him and his team, which isn't truly a narrative or storyline that you want to have heading into a new season. But if there is one driver out there that can pull RCR out of the mud they are currently in and head into the 2023 season, could this be Busch's redemption story, where he will show JGR what they have missed just for them to sign the grandson of the owner, Ty Gibbs? Obviously, the potential is there, but Busch will have a hard time proving himself due to the fact that the equipment and the overall performance of the RCR are much lower than the JGR. What do you think about RCR? Do you think that they made a mistake by signing a 2-time Cup Series champion just because they are hoping that they will see old flashbacks? Let us know in the comments below.